ciao. That's how we say hello in Vietnamese. And on behalf of Group 5, I would like to brief about the component 5. If the component 4, the producers group already define the value chain with the target buyers, the inputs, the production process, and the activities in order to produce the product. Then in the component 5, they will reflect on what they have and what they need to have in order to make the process successfully. Regarding this component, we find 3 most important things that need to be able to conclude after applying the component. The first one is the identification of the gaps and bottlenecks of the producers group in the value chain. And please make sure that they really understand that they will be able to distinguish between the gaps and the bottlenecks. The number 2 is we should do the cost-benefit analysis, including the risk assessment from different wealth capitals perspective. Because normally in the value chain, people tend to pay more attention on the financial wealth, on the profit or the loss that they will make. So therefore, we need to have the analysis on the different other perspective. For example, in the political or the social one too, in order to find the gaps and bottlenecks may come from those perspectives too. And after this analysis, we may identify the potential resources or opportunities. For example, after analyzing the political wealth capital, we may find the potential partners to fulfill the gaps in power relation in the value chain, for example. So they are the 3 key things. And Mushu will present on the application of this component in her country. Thank you.
But we should clap for you.
Thank you very much, Ha. I did our whole pre-testing in a video, but it's long, so I'm not going to share it. It's 7 minutes, contrary to what we agreed on. So
5 minutes.
yeah, we are going to work. We are not sorry. So we tested this with a women's group that are producing the Dayan batik in one of our LRPs. And we started like in the morning 9, and we didn't finish until 7. And by this time, we did not even test all the tools. That is one thing that I just wanted to put there. And secondly, is that the person facilitating needs to really have a grip of these tools, because sometimes they tend to confuse you. Oh, this is what we need to do. No, this is what we need to do. And I've seen that also played during this training. A good example is the Venn diagram. How do we really design the Venn diagram? Is it about relationship, or is it about a distance, or is it about what? So those things need to be very clear in the tools. So what we did, another thing was all the components are interrelated. Saying you have to test on the gaps, risk, the gaps, bottleneck, and risk alone as a standalone wouldn't work. So our experience, we didn't start with that. We have to first map out the resources and find out whether that is the most important for that group or not. And when we established that, we were able to go into this before even coming up on the gaps. Like, what was the input? How did they do the production? What was the change? Up to the very end. And then when we established that, then we were able to come and work on what were the bottlenecks for each of the areas. What were the gaps? What were the risks associated from A up to Z? And when we identify that, that is where you as the facilitator now pick up the pieces to see this where the gap breaks and the bottlenecks within these components. Another thing that also came out was we should factor that it's too risky doing this component, in the sense that women have the energy, they have the enthusiasm to really work on this. But when we use one of the production that they did, and we realized that they were losing, the energy came down immediately. And we were confused whether to continue or not. But the good thing that we told them was, the idea is to know whether there was various capitals being built. Even though the financial capital wasn't well, but we were able to realize other wealth, like the political wealth, the social and other related issues from the exercise. The other thing was, the exercise has the potential to identify other opportunities. Like we have identified 3 main opportunities from this. One was the soap making, where they identify and say, even though they may lose, but they can go into soap making, where even they don't have the external market, the local market is there, every household uses, and it will be affordable compared to the internationally purchased soap. The other thing is, how can they diversify within the tie and dye and batik still as a group, and they are able to identify, like when the produce are right, they can buy and resell later, and that can bring more income for the group. And it can also help solve some of the group dynamic issues that they have, because the group were started, because they are starting to have income, they started having fractions. You know, who is the contact person for actually, who does what, who goes to do the purchasing. Is it necessary that we have 3 people to go and buy the input and then come, 3 people to go and market and then come, 3 people to do this? So there was that, which was eating most of their profit, and they were able to identify that. They were able to say, we will work on it and see how best we minimize this to make profit. So this was what I wanted to say. Thank you.